We're at the point of the show now where we are joined by our jocks. We have Ashley Burney with us. Thank you so much for being here. Ashley's going to give us practical knowledge, practical steps and advice as to things we can do to, when we're in our transition, how we can positively affect our community. Ashley, thank you so much for being here.
It's such a pleasure. I'm so excited, and thank you for having me. You know, it's truly amazing when we can understand our value and when we're stepping outside of what would normally be our comfort zone and giving back to our community. And many often kind of tackle with, what is community and how can I be of value? And so understanding community is truly understanding that it's evolving. We are a piece to a bigger puzzle. And so when we step out to become comfortable in networking and understanding the importance of relationships and understanding the importance of our value in giving back to our community, it is truly rewarding, really rewarding.
So when athletes are finished, when they're done playing, there's always there's a part of them that dies with that. And I know for myself, when I was going through that, I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to be seen because I was having a hard time seeing myself.
Correct.
Right? So what can we learn? What can athletes learn through engaging their community?
Absolutely. And what the nugget here is, for so long, you were in your bubble. It was go time. You were familiar with your day to day. And so stepping outside of that is understanding that so many people already look up to you, and they choose to take a piece of whatever they see and whatever they value and how you inspire. And so continuing that and then stepping outside of your comfort zone, you'll be fortunate to see that when you put that in action, because you feel like, you know, I'm done. There's nothing else that I can contribute. But that's incorrect. Once you're actually able to connect with a seed and sowing a seed in your community, once it's watered and watered with gift, because you have a gift and it's understanding that your gift matters, then it will supersede and it'll take off.
Well, what's a question somebody can ask themselves to figure out what is that gift? Because we know sports is what you do.
Right.
And there is a difference between what you do and who you are.
Correct.
So what's some practical advice or a question somebody could ask themselves to start to discover their own value and what their gift is?
Absolutely. So in stepping outside or asking yourself that question is, from what I've seen, is what do you want to be aligned with? And so in your community, there's so many moving pieces, there's so many organizations, there's so many causes, but asking yourself, what value, right, would I get out of connecting with a foundation that helps children with cancer, for example? Right. Is that you were fortunate to live in prime time, doing what you loved, understanding that, you know, I mean, you had it down, but connecting with, say, a cause, right, that is bigger than you. And you understand that you were blessed to live a journey that you thought it only may have impacted you, but it impacted so many more others. And so I think is understanding that you have to know what you want to now align yourself with, because it will be then fed with passion.
Because that leads me to my next question of how could a washed up retired athlete be an inspiration to anybody?
And I really believe this is where you ask yourself in what you were aligning yourself in or with, the value of that. For example, teaching. Being able to give back to, say, youth who are questioning their path, their journey, and you've lived it. So when you can connect with a soul who needs to hear what it's like for those next steps that they haven't even tapped into yet, that's your why. You have to understand your why, and that again is in alignment with that puzzle piece, to understand that you are a piece of a puzzle that will be influential in those arenas.
So what I'm hearing is when an athlete engages with their community, their team's just getting bigger.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they'll have to change their position that they play.
Yes.
And I think something that's very difficult, and I can say for myself, because I taught for 8 years in public school,
Yes.
it's so incredibly rewarding when you have the kids that'll come in, skip class, they don't care,
Yes.
until you explain to them why they're in school.
Mm-hmm.
And that same kid who doesn't care has the best grades because they're
Absolutely.
inspired. And I think that's where athletes, if they can engage with their community, they can find that new inspiration. They
Yes.
have to now let others tell them what they see. And sometimes others' vision of you is going to help you change
Right.
maybe what you see on the
Absolutely.
inside.
And I totally agree with that. And it's so inspiring when I see those who feel like they can't contribute or they have nothing to contribute, yet you're changing a child's life. You're literally changing a child's life by letting them know this is why it is so important for you to take this seriously right now, because you're laying the pavement down for your journey and you have no idea. But when I can come along and I can actually share, you know what, no, you need some constructive criticism. You need to be able to hear, one's opinion on how that one split decision can impact your entire life.
So, what's a practical step somebody can take right now to engage their community?
So I think a step that they could take would be looking looking into those foundations. For example, when you're speaking of nonprofit, looking and researching those foundations who are truly impactful within their communities. So you have a hub of them. Typically there's a hub and they're doing so much. But what you also need to remind yourself in that research is, are there organizations who are trying to be everything to everyone? Because this comes with mission. You will get lost trying to appease everyone. But are there foundations who are sowing the seed of hope in furthering their mission, and that light bulb goes off to you to say, I can be a part of that?
Perfect. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
being with us this episode. We look forward to seeing episodes to come.
Absolutely.